This is CNN Breaking News.
This is Piers Morgan Live. Welcome to our viewers in the United States and around the world. Disorder on the docket. Jodi Arias fighting for her life.
And the last thing that Mr. Alexander felt was this knife, this woman, and this blade coming towards him.
The jury finds that she was extremely cruel. That means she's eligible for the death penalty. The question is, will she get it? And the supersized O.J. Simpson, he never testified during his murder trial. Now, finally, he's taken the stand.
Do you think that you were acting legally?
Yes, I did.
You were doing?
Yes, I did.
And why is that?
Well, it was my stuff. I followed what I thought the law.
Breakdown on the biggest legal issues of the day around Dershowitz and Gloria Allred. O.J. Simpson doing something he never did during his 1995 murder trial, taking the witness stand. Simpson is serving 33 years for robbery, kidnapping and assault stemming from an incident in 2007. But now he wants a new trial. CNN's George Howell is in Las Vegas where the case is being heard. George, we finally get to hear from O.J. Simpson.
Piers, and we saw an alert O.J. Simpson, a person who seemed very comfortable back in the spotlight this time, and for the first time, telling his version of events leading up to and then during that confrontation with these two sports memorabilia dealers. But again, what did we see? We saw a 65-year-old who is heavier, who is visibly grayer, and instead of wearing those suit and ties that we're used to seeing, this time O.J. Simpson sporting a blue prison jumpsuit, Piers.
And in terms of where this is going to go, it's going to come down presumably to his word against his former attorney's word, right?
Right, and there's a lot of groundwork, there's a lot of foundation that he and his new attorney are laying down, but really it goes to the heart of this matter. O.J. Simpson says that he got bad legal advice, but get this, before the confrontation even happened, he says that he had a conversation with his attorney, and the attorney told him that he could go back, Piers, and take back his belongings legally. Listen to what he had to say.
Well, what's his advice to you regarding the entire plan?
That if they didn't give me the stuff, we have to call the police.
Okay.
And that's what I told everybody involved, that if they don't give it to me, I'm going to get the police in it.
Okay. Did you have any understanding whether you could detain people or not?
No, so the police came.
Okay. So at this point, your advice is no trespass on other people's property.
Yes.
You can use some force.
Yes.
You can demand your property.
Yes.
Okay. And if they refuse to give it to you, you can detain them for the police.
Yes, well, I had no doubt that they would give it to me.
Okay.
And Piers, there were also a couple of other big items that were mentioned. First of all, O.J. says that his attorney did not tell him about a plea deal that he could have taken to take 2 years in prison instead of the long prison sentence that he currently has. And he also says that his attorney advised him not to testify in court. The attorney basically saying that he would not be convicted. So he did not testify in court, and Simpson's new attorney is basically making the case that O.J. Simpson did not get that opportunity to speak up for himself against the evidence that prosecutors had against his character and against those several days.
And George, was also a rather fascinating insight into his relationship with alcohol. Tell me about that.
Right, and we learned about this the day before the confrontation, even the day of the confrontation. O.J. Simpson said that, look, he was in Vegas for a wedding. There was a lot of drinking before the confrontation. During the confrontation, he even said, look, I wouldn't drive a car in my condition. Listen to how he explained it in court.
At the pool, are you having any alcohol?
Oh, yes.
And how much do you drink? If you can remember.
Well, I had a joke that my doctor says I should never have an empty glass. Is what I would tell the waitress. So we were celebrating. It was, we were all celebrating.
So Simpson basically admitting that, alcohol was a factor, and it's still unclear exactly how that could play out in the judge's mind.
Right, pretty extraordinary to watch him finally giving evidence. George Howell, thank you very much indeed. Now it's time for tonight's Law and Disorder. Here to break down all the cases Americans are talking about, from O.J. Simpson to Ariel Castro to the latest on Jodi Arias. Our superstar attorneys, Gloria Allred and Alan Dershowitz, who I should point out acted as an appellate advisor to Simpson's defense team during his murder trial, and they've wrote a book about it. Welcome to you both. Let's start with you, Alan. Come on. What do you make of seeing him finally give evidence?
Well, he's not a bad witness. I certainly advised, and most of the people on the defense team advised him to stay off the witness stand at his murder trial, and that was the right advice at that time. He has no shot at all, I think, at winning on the issue of his lawyer telling him to stay off the witness stand. That's just tactical advice. He has a really good shot if he can prove that he wasn't told about an offer of 2 years.
Is that plausible? Is that likely?
Yes, and it happens. It happens all the time. Lawyers want their chance to be on television. In this case, he argues that the lawyer may have had a conflict of interest. I have seen many cases, and they've been reversed, when the lawyer fails to communicate an offer. The third issue is if the lawyer, in fact, gave him advice prior to his going into this room, saying this is what you can do, this is what you can't do, he clearly had a conflict of interest. He was then a witness, not a lawyer. So on 2 of the 3 issues, he has some chance of prevailing. Now, I think everybody out there ought to face one reality. If this were not O.J. Simpson, and if all Americans didn't believe that he had killed his wife and gotten away with it, no way is he going to get this kind of sentence for doing what he did. He is being punished for what many perceive as having gotten away with murder.
Would you go on that?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think that's insulting to the judge who was the one who sentenced him. Having said that, I would respectfully disagree with Mr. Dershowitz in reference to his statement, O.J.'s not a bad witness. O.J. did testify in the civil case where the Goldman family and the estate of Nicole Brown Simpson was suing him for the killing of both of those individuals. And he did testify, and the jury did not believe him. And they found that he was liable for the wrongful death of both Nicole and of Ron. So I actually at the time, and said in my book, I said that he should have been investigated for perjury at that time because of what he testified to, that he'd never hit, slap, punched Nicole, and that he said that, he testified to that, standing beside or sitting beside large blown up photos of her with a black eye, and obviously that was not true. So having said that, he actually has 19 grounds that the judge is allowing him to present evidence to as to why he should be granted a new trial out of the 22 that he wanted, and we'll see whether he's successful with any of it.
But the issue of whether he should be punished for what he was previously acquitted of bears some resemblance to what's going on with the IRS now. If you don't like somebody, you apply a double standard of justice to him, whether it's auditing him or giving him a harsher sentence. And Gloria, I would like you to look me in the eye and tell me he would get 33 years for trying to recover his own property if his name weren't O.J. Simpson.
Well, first of all, Alan, I will look you in the eye and tell you this, that he was convicted of robbery, and there were guns present. And although he denies knowing or having criminal intent and all of that, the jury didn't buy it. Okay, so having been convicted of numerous counts, he was sentenced. I don't have any problem with the sentence. And now he's trying to reverse it. We'll see whether or not he's successful.
I mean, talking about behavior involving attorneys, I was pretty shocked by the tone that Ariel Castro's attorneys. Were you shocked?
I was shocked. Look, everybody's entitled to a defense. And if you have the unfortunate bad luck of being called to represent somebody who is genuinely a monster, you may have an obligation to do it, but you're not obligated to be a character witness. You're not obligated to go on television and tell the world that this is a commendable person. You're obligated to present in court legal issues that will help them. So I, too, was very surprised at slipping over from being a defense lawyer to being a character witness.
Well, obviously he's trying to affect the climate of opinion for the potential jury pool if there is such a trial. I tend to doubt there'll ever be a trial. I think he's trying to position it for a deal so that his client doesn't get the death penalty.
Let's take a short break. I'm not going to talk about Jodi Arias. She's one step nearer the death penalty now. I'm also going to talk to you about other issues, including the fact I'm about to interview Donald Rumsfeld.
State of Arizona versus Jodi Arias. Verdict, count 1, aggravating factor, especially cruel. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action, upon our oaths do find that the aggravating factor, especially cruel, has been proven. Signed, foreperson.
Jodi Arias, listening as a jury, says cruelty was an aggravating factor in her killing of ex-boyfriend Travis Alexander. That means that she will face a possible death sentence when the jury reconvenes tomorrow, should she be executed for the murder. Back with me now from Law and Disorder, attorneys Gloria Allred and Alan Dershowitz. So, Gloria, yes or no? I mean, they've got to phase 3 now. They think she was guilty of cruelty. That means she can be executed. Should she be?
Exceptional cruelty is what they found, or special cruelty. It's hard to say because now we're going to hear the leniency factors that are going to be presented by her defense. It's hard to imagine what they are, except for her family saying that she's been a good daughter or a friend and so forth, which I think is going to be hard to outweigh the aggravating factor with that. But it is not mandatory that the jury find the death penalty. It's going to have to be unanimous, and that may be more difficult, probably will be a lot more difficult than finding that what she did was exceptionally cruel.
And I mean, it's looking at, if the jury go this stage of saying, yes, we do think she's eligible for it, aren't they more likely to say, we think she should have it?
Oh yeah, if you're predicting the outcome, most likely outcome is that she'll get the death penalty, but she shouldn't, because if she did, she wouldn't be getting the death penalty for what she did. Of course it was especially cruel. What kind of murder is not especially cruel? But in general, women don't get the death penalty for domestic murders. O.J. Simpson, the state didn't even seek the death penalty, although it was a double murder, and obviously whoever did it with extraordinary cruelty. So whether you get the death penalty in Arizona or anywhere else is extremely random, and we should not be imposing a death penalty.
Well, there were political factors in that decision not to put the death penalty against Simpson.
Very quickly, I have Donald Rumsfeld. He's sweating out there, worried about what you may have asked. If you had the chance, what would you ask him?
Well, if you think that the IRS commissioner should be fired, do you think that the President of the United States, George W. Bush, should have been fired for acting on faulty intelligence and sending troops to Iraq war?
You should be one of my researchers. And Alan?
Similar question. Were you just as angry when Nixon had an enemies list and audited me several times during his administration and other liberals who he perceived as enemy? How do we make this not a political issue? How do we make sure the IRS is taken out of politics?
Great questions. He's not going to like either of those. Thank you both very much indeed. Another Washington